Okay, so Lauren, the first thing I want you to do is just introduce yourself. Tell us like how you got started in coaching, about yourself, where you are in your business, all of that good stuff.
Absolutely. So my name is Lauren Blackledge, lead of Team Grind and Shine. I have been a coach since November of 2016, so just a little over 3.5 years. Fell into Beachbody because I was looking to get a transformation of my own, and fell in love with the process. And about 2 months later, decided I wanted to snag the discount. Really didn't have much of a plan of what I wanted to do with coaching, but found quickly that coaching is nothing more than just sharing the joy of what comes along with the process for ourselves, and sharing and letting others see that they can get results and change their life too.
So you signed up to be a challenger, 2 months later, a coach. At what point, like once you became a coach, did you start thinking like, okay, I can do this, like I can lead people, and really essentially lead a team of women doing what you were doing? When did that shift happen?
So for me, when I first started, my coach and I kind of co-ran groups with her. And so getting my feet wet and getting comfortable with that, and realizing really quickly that it wasn't as scary as I kind of made it out to be, or in my own head of like thinking like, oh, I could never run a group. And I really leaned into the process of what was fun for me. So my challenge, I remember the first time I did a challenge group on my own, I was so excited to like do my own challenges and like make my own assignments for my girls. And so that was the first point in like when I felt like the comfort of leading my challengers. And then after that, I think when I started leading a team was when I realized I didn't want to do this by myself. When I realized like I wanted other people who loved this as much as I did. And so that was kind of a big vision shift for me, was knowing that I didn't want to do this alone.
Yeah. So what were some of the steps you took, like when you felt that shift? What were some of the steps you took when you're like, okay, I definitely want a team. I definitely want to help other coaches. Like, what did you do when you first started doing that? Like, what were the practical steps you took?
Absolutely. So I think practically it was find a program that you're going to lean into. Find the program that is going to make you understand that Beachbody programs work. That's number one. And then also making sure that you're showing other people that you're showing up. I think a lot of times it's so easy to see all of the extra things as something that will hinder us, or something that causes us to not live up to that, when in reality all of those things just kind of stack upon each other. So as long as you're getting yourself results and showing up with it, and then showing other people on your team how to get results and show up with it, and then their people to show up, get results, and show up with it, that is that stacking of what becomes a leader. You're showing people that they're leading by example. And we can look at all the big things with this business, but when it comes down to it, it's nothing different than the basics. As a leader though, we just teach more people the basics, and it's that wash, rinse, and repeat. And however fancy we make that is just depending on our own personalities. I actually did a thing just the other day, a call where I kind of felt out of my league, because I feel like my business is so simple compared to some of the big names that we see. And I realized like it doesn't matter how we do this business as long as we show up with it, and show up with it as ourselves. And I think that's why so many people in coaching and Beachbody find success, is when they really just accept who they are, and who they're going to be as a coach, and who they're going to help.
Yeah, that makes sense. And I
Yeah.
feel women in our circle, I know that you and I aren't like actually on the same team, but we
Right.
are. There are so many resources that we help them with, like with mentorship, and like if they ever have any questions or anything like that, like I think it's easier to step into that position of leader because of all of the support we have. So
Absolutely.
I really like that.
Yeah.
Um, So when you stepped into the position of like leading a team, wanting to grow a team, how did your posting on social media change? And what tips would you give for attracting other people who want to work on social media?
Absolutely. So for me, I love this question because for so long I was kind of at a standstill in my business because I was only bringing on other challengers. I was only helping people with their health journey, and I was so alone. And so for the big shift was sharing about what coaching was doing for me and addressing my own objections and my own fears through my posting. So I used to always, be stopped in the sense of I thought that I couldn't help other people run this business because I didn't come into this business diving into running a business. But I realized, what kind of coaching is this big fan of helping people get results, but helping people that, like, not everyone that comes in this business is going to come in with the same goals as us. I have some women that join my boot camps to lose 50 pounds. I have some people join in that are just trying to tone up. And that's the same with the business. Just because I didn't start this business to grow a massive business doesn't mean that it's my responsibility to keep someone else from starting a business. And so I share about that, and I share about what it's done for me. And I share about how, even though I didn't intend to be a full-time coach, but how this journey, can kind of take control without, and our vision changes and our desires change for life. So just being really direct about posting our story and then posting where we're going. And also, I've gotten super specific on who I want to help and who I want on my team and what I want to do as a mentor. And so being clear and kind of getting in tune with who you want to help grow a business and who you want to help with the results.
Do you have any tips about posting about income? Because I know when I first started, like the vision thing, I was like, I don't know what my vision is. Like I'm teaching. I don't want to do this full time. I knew I didn't want to. So I signed up to be a coach completely for income. Like I have no fear about saying that because that was just the case for me. And if Megan had never talked about her income, I would have never signed up. So that was kind of the route I took at first, is I talked about income a lot. And as I look back, there are things that I did that I was like, I wish I wouldn't have posted about it like that. And I've learned a lot since first talking about income. But in my opinion, if we want to attract business builders and people to run, you can't not talk about income. So how would you advise, especially newer girls who are making, maybe $50 a week or $100 a week, or, just not those humongous incomes that we see people talking about? How would you tell them that can still be an impactful post on social media to grab attention and to do it in a way that's not like slimy? Because we've seen that out there.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So what I try to do, one, I really try to focus on like the social proof. And so the fact alone that, we have the resources with, you have Team Fit for More, and then you have Spirit and Spunk. We have a lot of people who have other stories that we're allowed to share. So even though for me, I didn't talk a lot about income at first. But when I shifted my conversations into coaching, it was very real. I used to talk about what I wanted to do with this income. And so when I was still working full time and teaching, I didn't have the intention to grow this massive income, but my focus was so that my family and I could travel without issue. And so I started posting about how I was going to be using my coaching income for our weekend trips. We always in the summers used to love to go like on just a random weekend trip to like places near, and we would get an Airbnb. And so coaching would cover that. And then, just what I do with my coaches is I really will have them zone in on what they are using their coaching pay for, which I know Spirit and Spunk does too. But focusing on the little things that will make life easier. And then I am a big, firm believer in it's okay for us to share other people's stories, because I have a leader on my team who joined into coaching immediately, straight off the bat, to one, get healthy, and two, start a business because she has 3 children and wanted to stay home. And it was because of my income progression that she saw that this was an actual possibility. So I think there's a thin line of not seeming, I think it goes in the approach. You know, you don't seem salesy or scummy if you're coming from a place in your heart. It seems scummy and salesy when it's like using it for your own agenda. But if you're truly sharing your income so that others can see that they can do it too, that line can never be crossed. That line, when it's from your heart, and if someone takes it the wrong way, then they're not your people anyways. So I've learned to really talk to my team about setting income goals. What do they want to use their coaching income for? I have one teammate who, she is very solid, follows Dave Ramsey. They have plenty of income, but she's like, I just want to use this for my play money. I want to go get my roots done, and I want to go get my nails done. And so that's her focus, and that's what I help her achieve. And so I think in the talks, in the conversation and the sharing about coaching, don't think that any paycheck is too small, but also don't allow ourselves to set someone else's ceiling. And so just being, coming from that sharing and serving heart, and knowing that your story could change someone else's life will never go, I guess, will never be
Yeah, I love that, because there's a really big difference between like saying, making a post that says, I made $100 this week, you can do it too. Like that is like, ugh, that just feels weird, versus saying like, I used to go and get my hair done and feel so much guilt, but because of this job, I get to go and pay for my hair completely every 6 or 8 weeks like I want to, with zero guilt. And that was a lot of my first goal. Like I saw Megan talking about her massive income to me at that time. She was out earning her teaching paycheck. I was like, okay, I mean, that's cool, but I don't know if that's for me necessarily, because I didn't know yet. Like I just didn't know what I was going to do with this. My first big goals were pay my student loan bills each month, and then I really wanted to get my hair done. So it started small, but then it kind of snowballed from there. And I can remember the excitement. I will never forget this moment. It was October of my first year. I chopped my hair off. I'd been talking about it forever. I got it colored, I got it chopped, and I remember posting about that. And it was my first time talking about like my income paid for this. Like how cool is that? And there are so many women who do want to travel, take their husbands on a little vacation trip, or get their hair paid for. And that story is the most important part, not the money. Because what is this money? What is this income going to allow you to do? And that's what we talk to people. So last question. These girls are in their first month, maybe second month of coaching. What would you tell them? Because I know they're filled with fear. Like, I just started. How in the world could I help other coaches? What would you tell them from day one, basically, about that fear?
Yeah. Number one thing, you will never know all the answers. You will never be able to have all the information that you need at one time. This is a learn, go. I actually heard another coach use this reference with coaching, and it was the most amazing comparison that I could think of. We're climbing a ladder, and as humans, we have to climb a ladder one hand at a time. And if you think of your hands as learn, action, you will keep climbing this ladder. If you're just trying to learn the whole way, you're never going to get up, jump in that ladder with one hand. And I thought that was such a perfect representation of what we do as coaches, is because right now in your journey as a new 2-month, 1-month coach, you need to learn, climb, learn, take action, and keep going, because you don't need to know the things that you're going to need in a year from now. focus on what you need to do at this moment and go do it. Don't let yourself become paralyzed by all of the information out there. Just start, because we all have to start somewhere, and you're going to stink at first. There might be something that you don't know or you say incorrectly, but you can't break it. Nothing will stop you unless you stop yourself.
I love that so much. I've not heard that. I love that, because when you learn and then take the action, then you know what you need to learn next. It's like you're not going to know how to help a new coach be a coach until you take the step of signing her up, and then she asks you the question. So then you go find what you need to know. So exactly. I love that so much. You could just be filling your head with stuff that you don't need yet, but taking the action really makes those things go well together.
Absolutely.
So, Lauren, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
You have Lauren. She's around if you ever have questions.
I'm always here.
So we'll talk to you later. Thank you.
You're welcome.